Virgin Voyages sailings are more popular than ever, which means it's really important now to make sure that you're getting embarkation off to a smooth start, so you can get on board and start enjoying your vacation as soon as possible. I'm David from VB Insider, and I want to collate a few tips that we've gathered across the years of sailing with Virgin Voyages to help you embark on your Virgin Voyages cruise as easily as possible. VB Insider is the #1 resource for the latest Virgin Voyages info, guides and news. From picking the perfect cabin to booking dining, or simply just making the most of your voyage and saving money while you do it, VBinsider.com has helped thousands of sailors around the world sail smarter. Support our work by hitting subscribe and stick around to hear how you can get exclusive perks by booking directly with us. The first thing about a successful embarkation journey with Virgin Voyages actually starts from the point where you book your voyage. By which I mean, as soon as you've booked your voyage, you're able to choose an embarkation slot for the day that you depart. To do this, you just need to go into the Virgin Voyages app. We've got specific details on the VB Insider website on how to do this, but once you've reached that point in the app, you'll be able to choose an embarkation slot, which will be a 15-minute slot that you can choose, starting from 1:45 in the afternoon, 1:45, leading all the way up to sail away. Now, of course, everyone wants to get on the ship early, so you need to make sure that as soon as you're booked, you're on the app choosing your slot, because the earlier slots will go very quickly. The sooner you get on the app, the better the chance that you're going to have an early slot, and you'll be able to start your vacation off as soon as possible. Of course, these embarkation slots don't really matter if you have priority boarding, which I'll get onto in just a moment. Now, a quick word from us about what you can and you can't pack before you arrive at the port. Now, there are a few prohibited items, stuff you cannot bring on board. Things like kettles, irons, or steamers. You can ask for a steamer to decrease your clothes when you're on board, and of course there are pressing services available in the laundry, but you're not allowed to bring these devices yourself. There are of course a few obvious items you can't pack, for example firearms, weapons, things like that. We have a comprehensive list available on VB Insider for the things that you're not allowed to pack, but of course make sure you do pack the things that you do need. Of course you're going to need everything that you would normally pack on a vacation, but something to really watch out for while you're packing for your Virgin Voyages cruise is to make sure you've got those themed outfits packed. By which I mean, of course, make sure you're packing for Scarlet Night. So you've got a red outfit for Scarlet Night. That's very, very important. But you may also want to participate in the other dress-up events on board. One of the events that happens across all of the ships is the VHS morning workout, which is a 1980s Jane Fonda style aerobics class. And they do encourage you to dress in 1980s aerobics gear while you do that. That, of course, is completely optional. You can go along to the class. It's great fun, and you can show up in your normal gym gear. But if you want to make it a little bit more fun, add some sweatbands, add some neon, and have a great time. There are also a number of different themed parties around the cruise, some other club nights where you can dress up and have a great time. Again, always optional, but if you do want to go all out and dress to the theme, make sure you visit VBinsider.com, and we have a list of the themed nights depending on which ship that you're on. For example, Resilient Lady has things like We Fancy, which is a gold and glittering event. It also has Club Rubik's, which is another 1980s event. But do check on the VB Insider website for more details about the different events that are available on the different ships and the different themes you might want to pack for. So now that's packing out the way, here's a few tips for having a really successful embarkation. And the first tip is the most important tip, and that's make sure you arrive to the port in enough time. The ship will not wait around for you. If you're not on board the ship in enough time, it will go without you. So make sure you're prepared for any possible travel disruption. The best way to do that is to make sure that you arrive at the port city at least a day in advance. So making sure you're there at least the night before to make sure that you wake up and get down to the port with bags of time ready to get on the ship. So just to be extra sure, VB Insider have teamed up with an excellent transfer service called Welcome Pickups. We've trusted Welcome Pickups for years to get us to the port on time. If you'd like to support our work and our website, you can book your transfer through Welcome Pickups using a link that I've listed in the description below. Of course, that begs the question of when should you arrive at the port? So you know that you've got an embarkation slot. You've done that on the app and you did that after you booked. So you know what time you should arrive. Now, you may be asking yourself the question, if I arrive early, will I be able to get on the ship a little bit earlier? And the answer is no. do not arrive any earlier than that time states. And the reason why is because depending on the port, it's not going to be a particularly comfortable experience if you arrive to the port early. The most you'll be able to do is sit on bus station style seating waiting for you to get on the ship. In Terminal V in Miami, it's a little bit nicer, but generally around the world, cruise ports are not made for people to sit around and wait. They are made just to pen people in until they're ready to get on the ship. It's not a nice experience. You're better to just wait until your embarkation slot. It means when you arrive, there'll be minimal waiting and you'll be getting on your Virgin Voyages ladyship in plenty time. Use the time in the morning and the early afternoon to just enjoy the port that you're in. So you might be in Athens, in Miami, in New York. Enjoy the city. You can drop your bags at the port from 9 a.m. So if you'd prefer to get down to the port and just leave your luggage there, you're very welcome to do that with the porters and they will keep it for you and get it on the ship when they're ready. And that will give you enough time to explore the port and you can return back when your allotted time comes up. Another quick note on luggage is that luggage is not limited in any way. You're not restricted to how many bags you can bring on. You're not restricted to how heavy those bags can be. So if you want to pack all of the outfits, all of the themed outfits, have changes every day, that's entirely up to you. Bring as much as you can carry. I'd like to make a quick note here about priority boarding, and that's something that is available to certain sailors. That includes all of the Rockstar sailors, so that's Rockstar and Mega Rockstar, as well as anyone with priority boarding. You may have priority boarding because you have a Deep Blue Extras loyalty status with Virgin Voyages, or you might have booked it as part of a package. If you've got priority boarding, you can arrive at the port at 1:45 and enter the ship shortly thereafter. The way that this works is that Rockstars and Mega Rockstars will have their own boarding area. So they will go down their own VIP lanes and get checked in, grab their black wristbands and check in that way. And they will be led onto the ship first, the Rockstars and Mega Rockstars. And then those with priority boarding for other reasons, so including Deep Blue Extras, including the packages, you will board shortly after the Rockstars have entered the ship. So you'll not be waiting around too long. And it's a really good perk of the loyalty scheme. Checking in at the port in general is really straightforward. So it doesn't matter if you're a Rockstar or a sailor, you check in effectively in the same way. You're simply led into different directions when you arrive. And that is, you will arrive at the port, you will take your luggage over to the porter. There is a print at home option that they're trialing at the moment. So keep an eye on your emails and you may be invited to print your luggage labels at home and put them on the bag yourself, which might save a little bit of time. Otherwise, they will have labels at the port and the luggage porters will do that for you. The luggage porters will then take your luggage and then you are free to go and check in. Now, check-in's really easy. Make sure you've got your passport out. And also if you've got your app open, that would be really useful as well. So you can tell the agents at the desk what cabin number you'll be staying in and they can retrieve your booking for you. What will happen then is they will check your passport, make sure everything's above board, check you onto the ship, and then they will give you your wearable, your wristband that you will use for purchases and also opening your cabin door on the ship as well. Once you've checked in, you'll then be ushered over to a holding area. You'll wait in the holding area until they're ready to let you on the ship. Now, you may be waiting here a little while because it really does depend on how quickly they're able to check the sailors in front of you into the system and onto the ship. So you may be waiting a short while after your embarkation time, but don't worry, they do try and get through things fairly quickly. Once your group has been called, you'll be then led through an airport-style security system, and they're going to check your hand baggage for any prohibited items. They're also going to check that you're not bringing anything that you shouldn't alcohol-wise on board. Now, you are allowed per cabin to bring 2 bottles of wine. You can also bring some sodas as well. We have details of all the things you're able to bring on board on vvinsider.com. So if you want to make the most out of that wine allowance, do give that a read. Sailors will also pass through a metal detector as well to make sure that there's nothing that you shouldn't be bringing on board on your person as you pass through. And that is all you really need to know about embarkation on Virgin Voyages. They do make it very straightforward. And if you have any questions about the embarkation process at all, let us know at vvinsider.com and we'll do our best to answer any questions. And if you spot something that we've missed or the policies change at all, we'll be updating our guides as we go along to make sure that we've got all the latest information for you. Now, I just want to mention quickly about disembarkation. So as much as we don't like to talk about the end of our voyage when we're talking about the start of our voyage, it is connected in some way. So there are two options available for you for disembarking the ship with your luggage. So you can either decide to do what's called express walk off. This is where you carry all of your luggage off the ship. And you're very welcome to do this. It will give you, of course, a bit of extra time to pack things. So you can pack things all the way up to the point that you leave the ship in the morning. So that's quite a perk. But of course, it does mean that you're having to lug all of your luggage off yourself. And of course, depending on how many bags you brought with you, that might be a little bit of a struggle, especially if you're on one of the higher decks trying to get down, or you might be standing in queues waiting to get off during disembarkation. So do have a think before you decide to commit to that. The alternative way, and this is if you're a bit more relaxed or a bit more planned, you'll be able to actually let Virgin Voyages deal with your luggage for you. So as long as you're astute enough to make sure that your luggage is all packed before 10 p.m, you can actually just put your luggage and leave it outside of your cabin door before 10 p.m, and the luggage porters will come and they will bring that down, and they will come and actually leave it in the port for you so you can pick it up once you've disembarked the ship. So two things to remember: make sure your bags are out before 10 p.m, and they will be available past 8:30 a.m. in the morning. If you have an early flight and you need to get off the ship before 8:30, do not use this service. Use the express walk-off service. So actually take your baggage with you if you need to get an early flight. Also, make sure before you leave any luggage outside of your cabin door that it still has the original luggage tag attached. Otherwise, it won't make its way to where it needs to go. So if you've misplaced that luggage tag, you can always go down to Sailor Services on Deck 5 and ask them for a replacement luggage tag. They'll be very happy to help you with that. When you get off the ship past 8:30, all of the luggage that is being used for the collection service will all be separated by deck. So you'll be able to go to your deck and identify your luggage and take it home with you. Now, leading up to the last day, you will have to book a disembarkation slot on the app. So this will be a time slot that you'll have to adhere to when you're leaving the ship. Now, this is a little bit flexible. So if you do decide that you need to leave the ship earlier or later, don't worry too much about the time that you booked in there, but it does make sure that the staff on the ship know how many people to have ready to check people out. And it makes the journey a little bit smoother for everyone if you stick to those disembarkation slots. But if you do miss your slot, don't panic too much. Now, a couple of nice notes before you leave the ship. Of course, the ship is still yours, so you're able to grab a breakfast or a brunch before you leave the ship. Your band will still be active, and if you've got any remaining onboard credit or bar tab to use up, now is the last time to do it. So you can order a Bloody Mary or a mimosa before you get off the ship, and that will still be charged to your bar tab allowance. And remember that bar tab allowance is a use it or lose it type of deal. So make sure you check the app to see what's in your wallet and use every single penny before you get off the ship to make the most of your money. The breakfast options that you've got are going to be Razzle Dazzle. You can also go to the Wake for things like steak and eggs. Those two restaurants obviously are quite popular, so make sure that you have a booking for breakfast if you're planning to go there. Otherwise, of course, you are welcome to go to the Galley for breakfast. That doesn't need to be booked. That's the sort of food court, food market style area. Or of course, you can just grab a very quick bite to eat from Grounds Club, which is the coffee shop. And they will have pastries and croissants available if you just want a very light breakfast like that. One thing to note with the bar tab, that bottomless brunch is not available on the final day. So if you're planning to use bottomless brunch, do that before the day of disembarkation because it's not available as you're leaving the ship. Your last morning is your final chance to take advantage of the My Next Virgin Voyages offer. So if you'd like to put a placeholder in for your next Virgin Voyage and get an exclusive offer in order to do that, you can visit Future Voyage Sales and they will help you by booking in one of those placeholders, which means you don't need to decide on a voyage just yet, but you're locking in that great deal that you can use on a future sailing. And if you want to support the work that we do at VV Insider and also get some exclusive perks, you can actually link the Getaway Guys, who are exclusive travel advisor partners, to your booking to make sure that both the Getaway Guys and VV Insider can take care of your booking and answer any queries or questions that you have as you book your next Virgin Voyage, as well as getting those exclusive perks that you can only get with vvinsider.com. One thing you will always need to make sure of is that you're leaving the ship before 10:30 a.m. Now, it may be a little bit earlier or a little bit later, so listen out for announcements, but they need the time to be able to get the ship cleared by immigration and make sure that there's nobody left on the ship that there shouldn't be before they start the next sailing. So do make sure that you get out of the ship when they're telling you to do that. One really important point to note here is that when you leave the ship, you are not permitted to return to the ship under any circumstances. So once you've left the ship, you may actually have a little bit of extra time before you head to the airport or onto your next destination. There are a couple of options as you leave the port. You'll not be able to store your luggage at the port itself because the luggage storage will only be for those arriving to the ship for the next sailing, so you'll not be able to leave your own baggage there. But you can use a service like Bounce. Bounce is a luggage storage service that we use and we endorse at viviinsider.com. So if you'd like to support our work, you can use our Bounce link down in the description below, and you can use that service to store your luggage, go and enjoy the port city for your last day before you then go to the airport. And talking of the airport, again, if you want to use a very trusted and reliable service, we use Welcome Pickups. The link is down in the description below, and they will help you get from the port to the airport, or even take you from the port to another point of interest or your next location. So that's all the tips that we have for you from VV Insider for both embarking on and disembarking your Virgin Voyages cruise. If you want to know what to do next now you've embarked on your Virgin Voyage, I've put together a list of all the things that you should do on your first day on board to have the perfect first day, and I'm going to link that video just after this. And remember, if you want to support the work that we do here at viviinsider.com by bringing the latest information, guides and news about Virgin Voyages, feel free to get in touch with us to discuss your next voyage booking. We can help you do that, and we can also make sure that you get any exclusive perks that you're entitled to, including things like exclusive offers with onboard credit, and it'll also enable you to become a member of our Red Diamond Club, which is an exclusive loyalty scheme offered by VV Insider, which means that you'll get exclusive planning perks for your next voyage, including ad-free access to viviinsider.com. For more tips and guides just like this as you plan for your next Virgin Voyage, make sure you subscribe to our channel and also gain some extra credit with your fellow sailors by sharing this video ahead of time with them before you sail. Thanks again for watching. I've been David at VV Insider, and we'll see you next time. Happy voyaging.